Welcome back to the dumbest bill in America. This podcast is called Nonprofit Amnesty, and we have with us Delegate Brian Chisholm. Welcome back, Brian.
Great to be here.
So, Nonprofit Amnesty, get this, podcast listeners. The state of Maryland has no idea, as reported by the Baltimore Sun, Brian, how much money it spends on nonprofits, let alone who gets the money in the nonprofits, let alone what the nonprofits themselves are spending the money on. Thoughts on this?
USAID comes to Maryland. I mean, this is really,
yes,
I think
right.
The nonprofits, and there are some good ones out there, but for the most part, it's become the greatest scam in U.S. history, in Maryland history. When nonprofits first started, what were they? Hey, we have a cause we want you to believe in. And then they would go out into the community and say, will you give us money to help? That's not the way it works anymore. What they do is they go to the government and say, these people probably wouldn't give money to us because our cause is ridiculous. So would you please give us money? And that's where we are right now. And when we talk about nonprofit, it really is just a business that at the end of the day, they wipe away all the revenue and all the money they bring in and pay everybody, including their CEOs or directors.
Also, you mean the nonprofit is getting money from the state of Maryland and the staff really isn't doing it because they're not being paid. They're not volunteers. They're actually being paid.
Yeah, they're enriching themselves
so it's
with
really
taxpayer money.
It's a misnomer. It's not really a nonprofit. It's a group of people getting paid in real jobs, real money, but taxpayer money.
That's right. Well, it's definitely non-profitable for the taxpayer because their money is coming out of their pocket. It's going to the government. And then in the state of Maryland, from the Baltimore Sun, it's not the conservative newspaper. The Baltimore Sun saying the state of Maryland has no idea how much money they're giving out or where it's going to. That is ridiculous. If it was your money, would you know?
So get this. Wasn't Wes Moore ahead of a nonprofit before he became governor of Maryland? Wasn't it called like the Robin Hood Foundation or something?
Robin the Hood or something like that, yes.
Right. Yeah. And he made like millions of dollars as the CEO of the Robin Hood Foundation. And now here he is, governor of Maryland. And he and the Democrats who spend millions of dollars on nonprofits. In other words, they give the money to the nonprofits to hire their friends to run a nonprofit. They don't know where the money's going or how much money the taxpayer is actually spending.
And that's the thing that's so insidious to me is they're taking money from taxpayers and just doling it out. So when we talk about Robin Hood, he was paying himself $500,000 a year, if I remember correctly.
I think it was at least $500,000 a year. So I think there were bonuses too.
Yeah, so we're talking about taking all of that money in. If you're a business and you're a CEO and you pay yourself that kind of money and you're not really making any profit, your stockholders are going to light your ass up. Well, you can't do that in business. You go to jail if you do that in the private sector. That's what bothers me so bad is these nonprofits are taking money that they didn't earn. They begged for. They go to the government and said, please give us money. They take the money. They enrich themselves. Sometimes they might have a product, but nobody knows where the money's going. That is horrible to me.
And you know what? In Baltimore, there was a time, and I don't want to just pick on Baltimore, but it is true. That's where a ton of the nonprofits are headquartered. And so many of them are grifts, of course, so many of them. Baltimore used to be this incredible industrial city with tremendous wealth. That's right. And a huge working class and blue collar population, but also a lot of wealth that was created there from shipping and so forth and steel, et cetera, et cetera. And the nonprofits raise money from the private sector and from everyday people. And somehow that responsibility has been transferred to the state so that, and that's because, of course, the private sector is pretty much left out of the state of Maryland, but certainly out of Baltimore they have. And so the state has stepped in, but it's become this thing where it's like a Democrat jobs program.
That's exactly what it is. And it used to be, if you're a nonprofit, you have to show your value to the public, right? This is our value. This is what we do for other people. This is what we do for the poor, or clothing, or whatever the case may be. That's no longer the case. They don't have to show any value at all. All they have to do is go to the state of Maryland and say, please give us money so we can pay all of our people. And that's where the grift begins. No wonder they're called nonprofits. There's no profit by the time they pay everybody.
Exactly. And by the way, if they don't know where the money's being spent, the state of Maryland doesn't, then certainly they don't even have metrics about what they're spending the money on, whether they're actually making real changes or improvements with their mission statement. So you don't know where the money's going, which means you don't even know what they're doing or if they're doing anything at all.
Well, let's talk about the ugly truth. A lot of the nonprofits are now nothing but political arms, oftentimes of the Democrat Party. So we have taxpayer money, probably a lot of Republicans out there that have their money taken out of their pocket, going to the government, and then they're using that money to give to these nonprofits, which are nothing more than Democrat-run organizations.
Sure.
To do what? To take out Republicans.
Yes, just like this USAID guy who was in Towson, who got $552 million from USAID and was committing fraud.
Yeah.
Among other things. Who knows what? I mean, the guy is definitely going down. I mean, he's definitely going to be put away in prison, as he should be. But how long has this gone on? And now the state of Maryland's doing the same thing. In fact, this last session, Brian, I want you to finish with this. Didn't the Democrats say, well, we want to step up because the Trump administration has stepped down on USAID and nonprofits? The Democrats want to step up and give them more money.
They wanted to give them more money, and they wanted a dashboard so it wasn't so hard to find out where the money is. They did. They wanted a dashboard for all nonprofits to know, hey, this is who you got to call to get the money. And look, how easy.
They were making it easier for them to get the money.
And how much easier it is it to commit fraud if the person that gave you the money has no idea how much he gave you or how much you got or even who you are or you exist. I mean, we have created this system here that almost begs for fraud. And all it's done is designed to enrich a lot of people.
Oh, yes.
And for the Democrats to build more political power, because evidently they don't have enough in the state of Maryland.
And that's the dumbest bill in America with Brian Chisholm. We'll see you next time.